If you're new, thank you for stopping by and checking me out. If you're coming back, thank you. Thank you for coming back. I'm glad that you've come to see me again and that we can share a little bit of time together. My name is Jess, aka Stitchy Carrot, and it is Saturday afternoon, the 6th of June already, so the year is flying by. I had meant to do this last week, but I was lucky enough to go and see my mum instead, and I wasn't giving up that opportunity. So for those who aren't aware, last week we were still in stage 1 of our restrictions reducing, which meant we could travel 150 kilometers away. So we drove an hour north of here up the coast, and my mum drove an hour south of her, and we met in the middle and had a lovely time. We had fish and chips, and my kids skateboarded and played in the sand, and it was lovely. So it was very nice to get out of our house for a bit. So I have 3 weeks worth of things to show you, including the last of my Maynia starts. So last time I talked to you, I had completed 5 and I still had 5 to go, but I decided that I would only do 4 more because my last one was supposed to be a Christmas one, and it was the day I went to see my mum, and to be honest, I wasn't feeling it. So I decided 9 starts for May was enough, and that I would leave my Christmas start for July. I'm feeling like I'm going to do some Christmas in July stitching once we've got over the craziness of May. So 4 starts to show you. I have a finish and some whips. So let's get started. Okay, so the last time I spoke to you, the next day I had my next start, and it was Welcome to the Forest by Country Cottage Needleworks. Now I had already started this back last year, but I just didn't love the fabric that I started it on. It was, I think, a Lugana. It was opalescent. I'm not a huge fan of opalescent. The fabric the weave was really tight, and to be honest, the colors just didn't really work either. So I decided that I would stitch it again, or rather I would start it again. I didn't get too far. And so it became one of my Stitch Maynia starts. So here is what it will look like. And this is like a drawing version. And I actually have the paper copy. Woo! So this is the first pattern. It is a set of 7. And I am doing them all in one panel with the border that Country Cottage Needleworks provided. So I am doing this one first, and here is my start. Here it is. So I've done part of the border that is provided for free on their website, and then I've started on the flowers and the pole and a little bit of the grass there. So I'm stitching this on a 25 count Lugana from Zweigart in Calico, and I don't know if you can see it. It's got these little tiny black flecks of stuff, brown and black and grey. So it kind of looks a little homespun, which is kind of what I wanted for this project. So yeah, so I was really pleased with how that's turning out. I even have the fancy threads for once, so I'm very glad I decided to restart it because it's much better this time around. So that was start number 6, and then the next Friday I had my next start, which was Shoot for the Moon by Stitchrovia. So this is my second Stitchrovia Emma Congdon start for Stitch Maynia, and this is my start here. Sorry, I should say this is what it would look like. And this is my start. So I've done a little bit, not too far. But I ended up spending quite a lot of time changing the blues because the blue that it calls for, the darker blue, blended right into my fabric. You couldn't see it at all. So I decided to change the darker blue and then I decided to change the other blues as well so that they would all go together. But I think that's standing out quite nicely on that fabric. Now, this is 32 count Lugana from Colour Cascade Fabrics, and it is in the colorway Sorcerer, which I bought this fabric a year ago for this project because I knew it would just be perfect. I love it. So I'm really, really pleased with that. It's just looking really nice. So be good. I think it should fit about an 8x8 square when it's done. So that'll be good. So that was the Friday night start of that weekend, and then I started another one on the Sunday. And I realized when I started this that almost everything I started had some kind of UK feel to it, which was not my intention. I didn't mean to have a UK theme for my Stitch Mania, but it's just the way it turned out. So, and this next one is no exception. So I started Kings and Queens of the UK by Cloudsfactory. And I've had this pattern for ages and I really, really wanted to stitch it. So I have made my start. So I've done 3. I haven't finished the words here. And I don't think I've put her gold in either, in Queen Mary there. So we have 3. We have King Edward, Lady Jane Grey, and Queen Mary started. So yeah. So, and because I forgot again, here's what it will look like. And I'm stitching this on 18 count Aida from Zweigart in cream with the gold flecks. Now, like I said, I don't love opalescent, but when I saw the cream, I thought, for Kings and Queens, they can do with a little bit of sparkle. So yeah. So that was my second last finish. And then the week went round again, and it was Friday, and I had what I knew at that point was going to be my last Stitch Mania start, and I started Autumn in a Teapot by Cross Stitching is Fun, which is on Cross Stitching for Fun, which is on Etsy. And I saw these patterns in a Facebook group, as you do, and I immediately went and bought one. They're in a set of 4. They come with all of the different seasons, and I am definitely going to stitch all 4 of them. So this is Autumn in a Teapot, and this is my start here. So I've already done 1,000 stitches, and to be honest, I did 1,000 stitches the weekend where I spent a whole day going to visit my mum. So and also we went and saw a friend the day before. So it just flew by. And I was a bit concerned because it has something like 68 stitches and it's only 3,000 stitches in total. I was really worried there's going to be lots of confetti, but it's beautiful. It doesn't really have much confetti at all. It there's not really single stitches. If there's stitches, then they've all been placed really carefully. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed this, and I really like the pattern creators, Marina and Victoria. So after I bought the pattern, they invited me to their new Facebook group that they'd started, and they're really lovely and really engaged, and they always show their new patterns there, and they've just put out some new, what do you call them, lanterns, some new lanterns that are really, really nice as well. So I'm definitely going to stitch definitely all 4 of these, and more than likely more of their patterns. Plus they work in Pattern Keeper, which is fantastic. So I'm stitching this on a 32 count, I think it's a Jobelan, 32 count Jobelan, also from Colour Cascade Fabrics in Misty Mountain Hop, which I think is my favorite color fabric right now. It is so pretty, so nice. So I can definitely get at least one other teapot on this side, and then I think I'm going to buy another piece for the other 2 because I think it would be really nice to have them all on the same fabric. So that was it. That was the end of my Mania, all done. And I really had such a good time starting all those projects, to the point where this Friday I didn't have a new pattern to start and I felt a little bit lost. So I really enjoyed, especially the Friday night starts, just finishing work, getting myself sorted, dinner done, and then sitting down with a new start was really, really enjoyable. So something for me to think about in the future about how I stitch things. So yeah, so that was the end of May and now we're in June. So this last week I have gone back, so I kind of ignored Magical Stitches homework for most of May. I really just wanted to concentrate on Maynia. I just didn't really feel like trying to get my head around challenges and things when I just wanted to work on my new starts. So now that June's back, I've been this week working on the homework, and one of the first challenge is to work on something you would find in a ship, and then stitch on something that you're ready to be finished. So I stitched on my very first, I think, or second Maynia start, and I finished it. Woohoo! So there it is. So this got about another 900,000 stitches to get finished. So yeah. So this is where it was. I should put a picture up. This is where it was last time you saw it, so you can see how much more I did on there. So yeah, I'm really pleased that I've already managed to get one of my Stitch Maynia starts finished. And I finished it last night, and I was showing it to my daughter who is 12, and she's already asking me if she can have it. So now I have to finish it. I think I'm just going to put in a little 4-inch hoop and put a ribbon on it, and then she will probably win me over and get my sloth. But I really love it. I'm really pleased I decided to do that one for Stitch Maynia. So that's my one finish for the last 3 weeks. And then I've been working on a couple of other things as well in the meantime. So I did manage to get a little bit on my full coverage, which is Ladybird in the Meadow by Lucy Pittaway, charted by HAED, and this is where it was last time you saw it. And this is what it will look like when it's done. And this is me here. So I think I got about another 1,500 stitches on here. It doesn't look like it, but those diagonals are getting quite a lot longer now. So it's a lot more stitches to get a full diagonal in. Still haven't hit anything other than blue yet, but that's okay. It is my favorite color, so I'm happy to keep stitching in blue. So yeah, my threads are a bit unwieldy there. Yeah, really like that. I haven't stitched in it. I think I stitched maybe the first week after I talked to you, and then I haven't stitched on it since. So I'm itching to get back to some full coverage again. And I have also been stitching on one other of my Stitch Maynia projects. I started to do a little bit last night for another challenge. So this is it's only about 200 stitches so far on She Is Fierce by Stitchrovia as well. So it's being difficult. Let's get better. So so far I've finished up the flowers and I've done she here. A few little flowers. So I think I'd like to get maybe a couple more 100 stitches on this before I put it away. So yeah, this is what it will look like when it's done, by the way, since I keep forgetting to do that this time around. So that's all my stitching for May, for the last 2 weeks of May and the first week of June. So I thought I would give you a little bit of stats from May. Honestly, I thought that I was going to have a smaller stitch count for May because I felt like with starting things, I didn't get as much time to stitch, so maybe I didn't stitch that many more stitches than normal. But when I did my count, I was absolutely shocked because the first few months of the year I was stitching around 5,000 stitches a month, and for May I managed to do 8,678 stitches, which for me, that's a lot of stitches. And I think that the reason why it's so much higher is because I made a big effort in May to stitch in the mornings before work. So I am still working from home, still likely to be working from home for a while now, for a while to go. So my new routine is to get up at about the same time I would normally have got up, but I sit, I have a cup of tea, and I stitch for a half an hour, 45 minutes, and I'm really, really enjoying it. And then I wake my kids up, and then you know, get all the kids, now that the kids are back at school, get that all sorted. But it's just really nice to have that quiet time, and I don't really know how I might do that when I actually physically have to go back to work, because I'd have to get up that much more earlier in the morning. But for now, I'm just going to be grateful that I have that time and stitch, and I think it really helps keep me calm and at peace for the day. Sometimes I get to stitch in the lunch break, but I'm, you know, sometimes I just want to do nothing for half an hour, and that's fine too. So yeah, so 8,600 stitches for May. I'm impressed with myself, I have to say. So we'll see how June goes and see if we can get that many stitches again. So that's my stitching. But I also wanted to show you, because I bought something. Every now and then it does happen. So I have mentioned in the past that my mum really, really loves birds, and I've been looking at this series since it came out, I think maybe 2 years ago, and I've been wanting to collect a couple of them for my mum, and it is the Cottage Garden Sampling series, the Songbird Garden series, sorry. Cottage Garden Samplings is the designer, and it's the Songbirds Garden series, and I'm sure you've seen these. There's quite a few of these popping up around Flosstube in different places, and I bought Heartful of Gratitude, and we'll see how we go with Blair. Oh, it's not too bad. So as you can see, there's a beautiful bird up here, and these roses, and that little cottage. I really love the little house there. It's so nice. So I ordered this week the fancy floss to go with it. I didn't order all of them. I only ordered the ones I really loved, and then I'll do a DMC conversion for the others. And I still don't know what fabric to stitch this on. So this calls for Weeks Dye Works Sanguine in 36 count, and I can't find that anywhere. Now I know lots of shops are limited in their stock right now, but I feel like it's just not something that I don't think Australian sellers are selling, and I'm a bit nervous about ordering overseas at the moment because I just don't know how long it's going to take to get here. Besides that, it cost me a fortune in postage. So I'm going to have a little vent here and say, if you are an American seller and you don't want to sell to overseas people because of whatever reason, please just don't offer to sell it to people outside of America, because what happens is people will say, yes, we'll sell it, and then they'll put postage for $80. I don't know who in their right mind will pay $80 for postage. So for anything, especially not for just a piece of fabric. So that I think the only sanguine linen I've been able to find had an $80 postage price tag. Not gonna happen. So if you have any ideas as to what fabric I could use for this, I am all ears. I think I'd like to stay with a dusty pink. I'd prefer to stitch it in a 36 or a 40 count, but I'm just not sure what to pick. Everything I find seems either too bright or too baby pink rather than a dusty pink, or it's a much smaller count. So if you have any suggestions as to what I could stitch this on, please let me know in the comments, because I really want to stitch this for my mum. Maybe this year. maybe for one of these Friday night stitching starts that I'm really enjoying. So yeah, so let me know. So next time you see me, I should have some lovely pretty threads to show, which would be nice. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to tell you about. We are actually, when I was seeing my mum last week, our Premier of our state announced that we can now go anywhere in our state. We were at that point still limited to 150 kilometers. They were looking to expand it next weekend to 250 kilometers. But because our coronavirus rates have been so low for a while now, they thankfully have lowered our restrictions, I should say. And now we're going to be able to go further out. Not that we're huge travelers around our state, but it means I can go and see my mum and stay at her house. So we will probably do that in the next few weeks. Certainly the school holidays are only a few weeks away, so that would be good to do a few of the normal things now that we're still in our new normal. So yeah, I hope everybody is doing well. I hope you're all safe and healthy, and thank you so much for leaving me messages and subscribing and liking to my videos. I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions or comments or anything, please let me know down below. I really enjoy reading anything that you send me. So yeah. All right, everyone, I shall see you in hopefully only 2 more weeks.